Okay, my name is Jonathan Howard. I'm 20 years old and I'm a chef.
My name is Najeri Joseph. I'm 19 and I do fashion design at FIDM, which is the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising in Los Angeles, California.
My name is Joanne Hines. I am 19 years of age. Currently, I am working on myself, working on my image, personal development, working on my music, still training in dance and theater.
I brought up with my grandma, so I was in the kitchen with her most of the time, and I catch on pretty quickly. So I had liked it from then. And then too, my mom used to work and dad used to work a lot, so it was only me and my siblings home. So I had no choice but to cook. Either eat, either cook or starve. So yeah, from an early age I was cooking.
I could too that I started dancing first, but it was just something that was always in me. It was something that was always in me. From the time I realized I like singing, I like dancing, I like acting, I never stopped.
So when I was younger, my mom and father are very creative, and also my sister is very creative, and just seeing them in that creative process, I wanted to get involved, and clothing just stuck for me. And I took it further and I started drawing, designing, got obsessed with patterns and colors, and I couldn't draw, but I just love shopping, clothing, and seeing people get excited about dressing up. And I just always, when I got older and I could actually put it into words, I thought, maybe I can help people to feel happy about themselves through fashion. So I used it as a gateway, basically.
My plans for the future, I plan to further my studies and hopefully someday own my own business. I'll venture overseas because here you can only do so much, while overseas has more range and thing of stuff to do than here.
Okay, after FIDM, I'm finishing in June 22nd, yeah. And I would love to work under a stylist at first, start my line, and then let it grow from there. But I'm open to writing for fashion, at a magazine, anything like that. As long as I'm in fashion and designing and in the process of starting new trends and anything innovative, I'll do it. I want to start overseas first, and then I think Barbadians would appreciate me when I come back, and then, I'm established, and then I come back and I share. So after, I'll go overseas first, start there, and then come back.
At first, I had this really international mindset. I must be working overseas in order for me to constantly be working. But I think I find as I get older, I realize that's not always the case. There's actually work here in Barbados, work in the Caribbean. And I'm the type of person I like to give back. So even if there was a case I was to work overseas or study overseas, I always want to come back to give and share to the younger generation. Because when I was younger myself, I never had many people to look up to.
I know that there are people who have stayed home, and I know people who tell me that it's unpatriotic. I'm just really, really glad that I left. Because yes, I could have stayed here, but I would never have had the experience that I had. I would have had a straight job. I would have to have had a job. I would have had kids. There's no way really to support yourself. So I would have been like everybody else who stayed here. I would have had a straight job during the day, and I would have tried to do my theater or my film or my whatever it was at night. And yes, you can get good, but I don't know how to explain the difference between how good you can get at something how much it means to you when that's what you do. That's how you pay your mortgage. That's how you pay your car payments. That's how you support your kids, is through acting and directing. So, I mean, I used to say, look, you will go to a dentist that is pulled teeth twice a year. You're not going to open your mouth for no dentist that only get 2 shots at it per year. And that's what happens with a lot of people. They get maybe 2 acting jobs in Barbados. How do you fulfill your full potential when you can't get up and do it every single day like you're supposed to do it?
We have something called the Rihanna effect. And this is not to say that there's anything wrong with a Rihanna who comes from, a working class family and who has these talent. The problem is that everyone clearly can't do that. And I think sometimes we forget that there is a local culture that needs to be nurtured.
Well, my school is a lot of money currently, but my parents are open-minded and they want to see me excel. So, I mean, me living overseas financially, I think it'll be okay because they have my back 100 and they want to see me excel. So, I know my parents will put everything into it. They would not make it a issue. Even if it was, they will still be like, my daughter has to get far. So.
If I was to leave, I don't know. I guess they would feel sad, I don't know. But my family supports me, and they know eventually I will have to leave. I guess my mother is the only one who knows that, but it kind of like taking her long to settle in her spirit. Everybody's like, oh yeah, he can leave, but she's just like, yeah, he's going. And then it ain't get there yet.
It won't impact anything because I'll be paying for myself. I do work, so it won't really affect them. That's all right.
Oh, it sucks financially. You can't get money anywhere. You can't find money anywhere.
Financially, it is very tight. It is very because life goes through seasons. So sometimes it's really good, and then sometimes it's because of whatever is happening in your life, then it becomes fairly tight. It could be very, as we would say, tight on money, and it could be tight in terms of the things we have to respond to. So it's never easy, but hey, you're pursuing a dream, so you have to be willing to back it with action. So you pull out all the stops. You do whatever it takes to bring this dream to completion.
My mom, I know she would get on a plane any second she could and come see me every month if she could. So as a household, it'll be fine. Because my brother lives overseas and he travels a lot. And my sister traveled a lot. So it's kind of, it runs in the family.
Our perspective is, heck, I can go to Paris. I could visit her in Paris. So I'm seeing travel. I'm seeing it's impacting us in terms of we go places, we see things. If she's going around the world, how are we going around the world too? So impacting us, there's a little bit of loneliness, and they come and they go, but then the finances will come back. I'm sure they will give back to us, I'm sure. So that's not even a doubt. So eventually we will gain because we've invested in them. But I just see positive, just all positives.
My close peeps, my family, they know for a while this is something I want to do. They know that I'm traveling. I guess at first when I first spoke about it, it was kind of like, that's not really possible. Like, they really so possible it is. It's a love that I feel for you deep down inside. It's a war that rages for you. I probably would be a burden though, because I like my space. I like to have my stuff. Let me explain that. If it was to stay, I would definitely want to have like more of my equipment, whether it's photography or a dance studio, right? And so I know, like, for sure I would start to butt heads with people in my family. If we stay in the same house. But other than that, I don't think it would necessarily be like a burden. I just think it would be we need to adjust. Do you even care? As the spoke of experiences.
My educational experience, it was good.
So far, my educational experience was a great one. BCC, with its challenges, it was still a great experience, and I believe the reason why it was such a great experience is because I had a great teacher, and that is Yvonne Weeks. Having a great teacher could change everything. As much as the facilities were lacking, the money was lacking, teachers was lacking, I found that you just need one or two teachers who are really passionate about their job, and it really pushes you, and they push you, especially when they see potential.
Most of my teachers, well, at FIDM, the rule is a teacher must be in the industry longer than 5 years, meaning they must, if they're teaching me illustration, they had to do it for a company, they had to be involved with it prior to teaching. And so they know everything about the industry, so when they're teaching us, they know what challenges that will come up in the future, and they like try to show us, okay, this is the way to go about it, and this is not the way to go about it. So their experience kind of helped me, and it's far better than when I was doing it here, by far.
I believe if we had better facilities and more money, we would have be able to experience more in terms of what the theater world offers. But I won't complain about my education at BCC.
More equipment for the schools, and people who are really willing to share what they know with other people. So I was really looking forward to be mostly in the kitchen most of the time, but I find I can't be in the kitchen most of the time. Gotta also do theory as well, other than practical. But other than that, it was good, and I learned quite a few stuff because they try to pack as much things in 1 year for general catering as possible. So what you do in 2 years for culinary arts, you actually do in 1 year.
For some reason, teachers don't find theater arts as important as maths, English, yet it's a CSC. If it's not that important, then why is it a CSC?
When I left to go to university, it was 1977. And in those days, people who went to Queen's College and got Barbados scholarships did not go off to become actors. My father would simply have lost his mind. So I said okay, but I knew that I had to get off of Barbados if I wanted to do acting. I think this was a plan. It wasn't anything that was thought out, it was all instinctive. So at that point, it's so bad to admit, but I looked down the list of what was offered at UE, and at that time they didn't offer psychology. So I told them that's what I absolutely had to do, because they wanted me to do languages, and they wanted me to do my first degree in languages and then go off. And so I wanted to do psychology instead. So that's how I ended up in Canada, and that's how I ended up, once I got my degree, hitchhiking from Sackville, New Brunswick to Toronto, Canada to become an actress. And that started, I got my first professional role in 1981, long before you were born.
How we have to see it is to recognize that art is vital to our lives. Creative expression is as vital to our lives as food and water and shelter. That is, we need a space to make sense of our emotional experiences. We need a space of thinking, a space that creates the kind of knowledge that emerges not from the academic approach in terms of knowledge, but to allow the arts to express those very intimate and those very sensitive aspects of our being. And that
don't give up. And you ain't gonna understand what you been don't give up until you really get in an experience or a place where you about to give up. But the feeling you get when you have achieved what you want is great.
Just keep at it. Keep at it. So many of your friends, so many people, sometimes even your parents might be like, why do you want to do that? That's not a real profession. Keep the dream alive. Keep going after it. If you know you love it and you don't want to give up on it, and even if people are telling you to give up on it, keep going at it. Keep going at it. Never give up.
If you want to do something, you gotta sit down, buckle up, do your work. If you don't do nothing, you're not gonna get nowhere.